Hello everyone, welcome back. I most likely never gave a full introduction of myself. Most of you have likely found me two different ways, one through my silent travel videos and a couple of my Notion productivity tutorials. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself and why I started a YouTube channel and what direction I'm actually trying to take within this medium. My name is Hannah and I am in my 30s living alone in a major metropolitan city. I am a working professional working in tech, and on the side I try to exercise my creativity and design skills as much as I can, which ultimately led me starting a YouTube channel. I'm still a little unsure how I want to take this medium. I really enjoy silent travel videos and lifestyle vlogs, but at the same time, I want to be a little bit more comfortable in front of a camera, which is why I started working on the Notion tutorials. Part of my professional work requires me to provide live demonstrations and walkthroughs of product workflows, so this is also an opportunity for me to exercise and practice being a little bit more comfortable speaking during a live demo. It's really difficult for me to not be doing anything in my spare time because I feel like time is so limited and you can always chip away at your priorities, your goals, your projects slowly simply by organizing yourself. So this is where Notion comes in. Today's video is going to be a really exciting one because it is going to be my first monthly reset video. I am going to be sharing with you my brand new Notion setup, which includes my goals for the month and how I designed my Notion template to be as effective as possible. My summer template is in my descriptions below and it's completely free, so feel free to download it and follow along with me as I go through the walkthrough. Part of this video is going to be a step-by-step tutorial of how to use the template, so just bear with me as we go a little bit more in depth with the steps today. So before heading into my Notion setup, I want to share you what my June goals look like and the progress I made for that month. A lot of the goals in June primarily focused on setting up my YouTube channel, and I established my channel username in February, but I actually didn't kick off my channel until sometime in April. And at the same time, I was recording way too much content and trying to stitch up a ton of videos without having a clear established goal for myself. But I'm very happy to have somewhat of a baseline established and started checking things off the list, like getting my Gumroad account, my Linktree, and little things to help improve my channel. I also prioritized designing and testing some Notion templates. Many of these are in the testing phase, so we'll talk about them when we discuss my goals in July. I got back into reading in February, and I've consistently been keeping track of reading almost every day as I can. And I'm also part of a challenge offered by Goodreads to complete 50 books for the year, so we'll see how that goes. And there are some goals that I actually didn't finish, and that's okay. The one goal that obviously stands out is practice and study Hangul, which is practicing and studying Korean language. I'm ready to spend about 5 weeks in Korea in October, so I've been trying to brush up on my Hangul, but unfortunately I have been prioritizing other things, so this is not something that I have been able to get to every day. Even though I didn't make a lot of progress on this goal, I'm still proud that I made like an 11% progress. I did remove the dates here in the task list because I don't like having overdue dates, and this also shows me how many days I've missed, which is okay. Now I think this is a good segue to go into my summer goals Notion tour for the month of July. So let's talk about what is around the page. So right away, I have my goals as the first thing that you see at the very front. And I like my goals in gallery view because I think it gives a little bit more of an aesthetic feel where I can customize my cards to show the most important properties. Next, I have important tasks related to goals and non-related that are upcoming for the week. Below that, I always add a monthly calendar because I really like to see my most important dates in a holistic view. A habit tracker is really important to me to keep me accountable of things I want or need to accomplish daily. That way it ends up becoming an automatic habit. And then below that, I have an inspo wall of images and visions that are matching my mood recently. I'm really feeling this purpley lavendery color this summer, so I'm sticking to this color palette for now. Before we dive into making our first goal together, I want to go over some of the most important databases that are linked at the very front of this page. I highly recommend that you don't delete the first 3 because these are the makeup of the template. These databases have custom formulas that help calculate progress made in each goal, in addition to other properties that support the Summer Goals template, and I'll go further in depth in this area at the end of the tour. Under the divider, I have 2 additional categories with data databases within the pages that don't have any relations to the overall theme of goals, but I'll actually revisit this area a little later in the video as well. We're already in the second week of July and I started filling out my goals. And as you can see, I have quite a bit, but I already know that I won't be able to accomplish all of these goals, which is totally okay because you can always move the goal into another month. Similar to the previous month, most of my goals are focused on designing and testing more Notion templates, catching up on my reading, let's see, learning better management tools. I also have one for looking into MBA programs that I actually carried over from the last month. So I really want to make this a priority and start diving into it. And I'm also bringing over studying Hangul for this month again. So to set up your first goal, you can just hover over the tabs bar and then scroll to the right and select New. This is where a pre-made template will be at the center of your screen. And once this populates, you can see that I selected the properties that I think are most relevant that I'd want to see from a goals completion perspective. So I highly recommend that you don't make adjustment to these since they are roll-ups and relations in order to make the goals template. The property that you might be most interested in is going to be the progress here, and I'll show you how the progress is calculated based on the task completion within the goal. Scrolling below is where we can track our tasks with properties with due dates, a progress status, and a little notes section. And I also included a notes and resources section here as well in case you want to add anything that's relevant to the goal. I also included this reflection area for you to document how you achieve this goal and what the steps and habits you took in order to achieve it. This is a really good practice for you to write down any areas of improvements if you felt like you didn't reach the goal on time, or just an opportunity for you to feel good about what you've accomplished. I actually got this idea through my anti-anxiety notebook, and I thought this would be a good way for you to measure your overall feelings and progress for a goal. So why don't we make our first goal together? As I mentioned previously, I am going to South Korea for 5 weeks, which I'm also going to Japan for a week within that 5-week trip as well. But let's go ahead and call this one, I'm gonna call it a 2-week itinerary in Seoul, South Korea. And I'm gonna add a cover by looking for a really pretty image of Korea. So let's see what will pop up when I look under Unsplash. I think I'm thinking, I think I really like this one of a river that's in Korea. So let's select that, get out of it. And for the due date, so the due date is going to automatically select the day that you create this goal, but you actually want to change the date from the first of the month to the last of the month. So just select the end date toggle and select the first day of the month and then select the last. Oops, let me try that one more time. Okay, and then we can click out of that. And then for months, select the month that you want this goal to be under. So it's gonna be in July. And now I'm gonna start brain dumping tasks that I need to accomplish to make a 2-week itinerary. All right, we just finished our first goal setup. Now I want to show you exactly how the progress bar is calculated from the task list below. Anytime you complete a task, the progress bar is going to automatically calculate how much you completed based on the number of tasks that are in the list. So let's go ahead and just click the first task here, and you can see that the progress changed to 16.7%, and that's based on the number of tasks calculated in the task list below. So if I check off another one, it's gonna say 33.3%. There are going to be times where you complete a goal without completing everything on your task list, which means you will have an incomplete progress bar, but just click complete and then the progress bar will now be at 100%. Anytime there are changes or progress made in a goal, this area will automatically sort based on whichever goal was last updated. So the last one that we did was the planning 2-week itinerary in Seoul, South Korea, the one that we just created. So this is going to be the very first goal since it was the last one that was touched. And reviewing back to setting the due dates from the first of the month to the last of the month, that is for the template to automatically populate the goals for this specific month. Also recalling when I selected the month that this goal belongs to, the reason is I have a database that stores all goals in its respective months. That way you can see all of your goals sorted neatly in its own page. This we will revisit once I come back to the navigation area. Scrolling down to my task list, I like seeing what are all my upcoming tasks right at the very center of my page. You can also include other tasks that are not part of a goal, and they are actually sorted in the other tab above here. The one difference about my task list is my add to calendar feature that populates any tasks that has the label calendar to our monthly calendar below. So I don't have anything here to show that have something in the calendar, so we can just go ahead and create a new task. But let's just call this one-on-one Natasha and Hannah. And I want to add this to the calendar. So all I do is simply head over to the add to calendar column and I click right into it and I click calendar. And we can scroll down to the calendar view to see if it actually did populate. Now it is populated in the date, which is today the 8th. The summary calendar is pretty self-explanatory. Anything that is tagged with the calendar tag will automatically populate in this monthly view. And this calendar is just a secondary view of the tasks list. The only type of tasks you won't see here are anything without the calendar tag. I feel like a good calendar view is always important to add into any type of goals planner. That way, if there are things you need to remind yourself for, then you can always see it in the monthly format that we're all familiar with. Scrolling below, I have included a habit tracker for daily tasks that I want to keep a track of. I am going to note that I reviewed and played around with hundreds and hundreds of habit trackers to get to this point. The only difference that I made about this habit tracker is allowing the tracker to populate weekly instead of having a huge backlog that is going to take a ton of space. I think there's so many ways that you can use a habit tracker, whether if you're trying to make a new habit or keep track of weekly to-dos or keep track of your fitness goals. There's just so much you can do with some type of habit tracker, and I always make sure to include one of these in any of my templates. For example, I'm trying to change up my fitness routine a bit because I think I've reached a plateau in my workouts where I'm not really seeing a lot of results. So I'm actually tracking how often I'm cycling, how often I'm weightlifting, and I also included walking as part of my routine. Other habits I'm tracking is trying to read every day or at least listening to my audiobooks daily, working on content or videos. I'm trying to drink more water because apparently I don't drink enough, and I'm trying really hard not to rely on sparkling water because apparently sparkling water doesn't count as much. I recently included skincare routine because I want to prioritize doing my skincare masks at night. I have so many skincare products and I feel like they're never depleting, and I'm just adding more products into my life. So I really want to get into a habit of doing more of my skincare when I can. So this is my skincare closet. Journaling as much as I can, that way I can write down how my day is going. I actually have my own journal template that I've been testing on, so if I think it's good enough, I actually might release it. So the habit tracker populates by the week starting on Sunday and then ending on Saturday. And since this is a brand new week, I don't have a lot completed, so let's take a look and see what last week looked like and see how much progress I made there. Looking at this, I feel pretty good with the progress I made. I was a little bothered that I did not prioritize cycling or weightlifting as much, so that just gives me a good idea that I actually should try to incorporate it a little bit more this week, which you can see I started it at least today and yesterday. All of these habits are tracked in the habits analytics table below, which means each habit is linked directly with the corresponding analytic tracker column. So for example, I have cycling up here and it is linked to cycling down here. I have weights up here in the habit tracker and it is directly linked to the weights in the analytics below. I've been testing out this template since June, and I have my June summary to compare how I'm doing versus the previous month. That way I can kind of see where I've fallen off the wagon and where I need to improve a little bit or add a little bit more time into my habits. In my template, I've included days all the way up to the end of August so that you can start including the days of the month of September. Just don't forget to create a new monthly summary by clicking into either the habit tracker here or just click new and create your new summary and just link that directly into August or September. I added this inspo wall of things that make me feel good. You can use this area as a mood board of things you want to manifest for the summer, and feel free to add photos of things that make you feel good or even memories for the month that you want to capture. I use image sourcing sites like Unsplash or Pexels, especially when I know I'm going to be publishing my work, just to avoid any copyright issues. Just be wary about using copyright materials, especially if you are planning to publish other people's work. Because I'm a designer, I just really like to input this one just in case, because copyright is not fun and I just like to make sure that everyone is protected. Heading back up to the navigation bar, I want to go a little bit more in depth about a couple of the databases above the divider, and then as I mentioned previously, I'll go ahead and go further into the two below. The first one I want to discuss is months. So I included a month gallery because I wanted a cleaner capture of all my goals for a specific month. So let's go ahead and hit July. And if you recall, heading back into one of these goals, I have a property for you to add that month into the month area. You actually don't have to utilize this feature at all if you don't see it useful to you, because it doesn't break our templates. I only included this if you wanted a journal that collected all of your goals by each month. Now heading back out. Miscellaneous to-dos are a list of tasks that are not part of a goal, but this database is the main tasks database for all of the tasks in this template. So it's exactly the same database, and I sorted this area that way only the tasks that don't belong in any goal can be accessed in this table. Additionally, the calendar view is exactly the same thing. It is the database from your main task. So this is just in two different views, a calendar view and just a weekly view for more of that holistic overview. Now we're going to deep dive into the two pages with databases that have no relations to our main goals template. I designed this kitchen corner page to help me meal plan because I sometimes struggle with trying to figure out what to eat or make as someone who lives alone. So I made this page to keep me organized with meal planning for the week. This page also comes with a recipe book of things that I've gathered over the last few months, in addition to restaurants and cafe lists that are a little bit more relevant to where I live. The meal category and the weekly meal planner kind of work simultaneously. The meal category is relevant because sometimes you're going to make a meal again, and you can easily roll that into one of your meal cards in a day under the weekly meal planner. Let's just say I want to plan my lunch tomorrow. I just head over to my lunch meal card and I click edit. And let's just say I want to make samgak. If you don't know what samgak is, it is those little seaweed wrapped triangles that are usually filled with pretty much whatever you want to put in there. I want to make that tomorrow, and on my meal card I'm gonna select the category that's going to be under, and that will be under recipes. And I am going to click the meal card, and I'm gonna look for samgak. I see it's not here, so I'm just gonna have to type it up. And I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna get out of it. And now the meal card says I am gonna have samgak for my lunch for tomorrow. Once we've completed this meal, you can either hit complete or keep it as is and just change the meal card every week. If you do press complete, it does go into the complete table, so you may end up with a pretty large backlog in your board if you're okay with that. Heading back down to the meal category, I do want to share with you how the templates are designed for each category. For each tab, it has its own template. So for recipes, if I click on this recipe card and I scroll down, I have an ingredients list, and I also have a recipe instructions area where you can add your recipe instructions. The ingredients list actually populates at the very top of the page under the market list. That way you can use this for looking to buy the ingredients once you're at the store. Out of that and then click restaurants. And I click the restaurant card here. I have a section for notes for anything that you'd like to include in the notes area of the restaurant. And at the bottom, I have a location where you can embed a map of how to get to the restaurant. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep the kitchen corner in the overall template just because it doesn't really pertain to the theme of goals, but I did put a lot of work into it and I do utilize it. So I thought it might be a useful feature for some of you. I did keep some of the recipes in the template and a few examples of the restaurants and cafes, just so you have an idea of what it looks like when you start adding in your own recipe cards. Next is the Healthy Habits tab. This is another habit tracker of what I eat. This is another habit tracker of what I eat almost every day. I'm not really using it to try and check everything off on the tracker. I'm primarily using it to track foods that I'm not eating enough of or I'm eating too much of. So for example, I'm really trying to get fruit back into my diet, which is really sad because I actually grew up eating fruit almost every single day and it somehow fell off my plate. And I'm really trying hard to eliminate sweets or dessert out of my daily diet, but I feel like this one's a little bit of a weird category, I think, because anything can be really considered a sweet, like a fruit-filled yogurt or French toast. But feel free to change the icons with whatever you're eating and the categories however you'd like. Just like the habit tracker on the main page, this also comes with an analytics table. That way you can see the progress of what you're eating in a month. So same with how I felt about the kitchen corner page. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep this page in the overall template as well, but I kept it regardless in case some of you will or may find it helpful. And like I mentioned before, the good news is both of these databases have no relations to any of the pages in the overall goals page. So if you don't see the need of these pages, you're more than welcome to actually delete it and then remove it completely from the overall template. So that was the end of the tutorial. But before I go, I'll share with you what the summer template looks like if you haven't downloaded it already. Again, it's completely free. I included a few goals and tasks just to get you set up, and the months in the habit tracker are all set as well. But feel free to change the cover card or anything that you'd like that really matches your aesthetic. Lastly, I have some suggestions to help you get the most success out of your goals. First, for any goals that you set, don't be hard on yourself if you didn't reach the goal for the month, because you can always reset or either move the goal for the following month, or you can duplicate that goal and just retrack it for the next month. 2, try getting into the habit of jotting down notes directly into the goals or tasks related to the goal. That way you can check the progress on what you've done or have been doing to complete that goal. This habit is not just good for your day-to-day, but very important in the professional field, because keeping track of your work is how you can refer back to things that are very data intensive or things that require some type of proof of progress. Lastly, just have fun. The whole purpose of this exercise is to help you keep organized during your day-to-day and ultimately help you keep you in check of any projects or goals that you want to accomplish. I had so much fun making this template and I've been dying to share it with you guys since June. I put a lot of work into this and I hope you guys find it super helpful for your goal setting and your habit tracking. You guys know I'm very open to feedback to better improve myself, my recordings or my tutorials or just even my templates. Feel free to provide your comments in the comment section or just email me directly. Alright guys, I'll see you guys again.